Okay, combinations and permutations. Even if you were in pre-calc, you might want to know how to do this because the ACT has these questions on it. And it's also something you could have on the MCA test. Let's say I had 5P2. 5 kids are in a race, and I'm going to keep track of who won first and second. Would you agree that I've set it up correctly if this is a race?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sir, well, let's put your name down here first and last name. I assume you're here from another teacher? All right, so how would you do the answer for this? Well, you do it with a 5 factorial. Would you please finish it and get the answer? How many ways could those 5 kids finish first and second? Like choosing 2. So, are you in pre-calc? Okay, good. Okay, so then don't stress. I'm going to be teaching them a lesson. You can just kind of work on your own on something else. The lesson will be done in about 25 minutes here. 5 minus 2 is 3 factorial. Is this the kind that has an extra one of those? Nope. That would be if it was a combination. All right. Gentlemen in the back, you're talking a little bit too much. I think these guys are talking about the question, right? Okay, good. All right, so this would be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 over 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1, and that cancels that, so the answer is 20. Raise your hand if you had 20. Okay, awesome. Now, I showed you yesterday an example of a CC over C. Screwed up my last C. And here's how that goes. I'll give you an example again. Let's say we only today had freshmen and sophomores in here, and that's close to correct. Okay, so let's say we only had freshmen and sophomores, and let's say that there's a total of 30 kids. I already know one of the numbers that I should put in to do this probability problem. If there's 30 of you total, then that goes somewhere, and you should know where it goes. Now, let's say I'm going to choose 2 kids randomly from this room. I also know where that goes. Do you know where that goes? All right, do it. Put that in. And then I'm going to tell you that as a group here, you're made up of, again, freshmen and sophomores. So one of these C's will be for your freshmen and one's going to be for your sophomores. And let's say it's an equal split of 15 and 15, making a total of 30 kids. Let's say there's 15 freshmen and 15 sophomores in here. Well, then I also know 2 more spots that I can fill in right now then, if there's 15 freshmen and 15 sophomores. So this is freshmen and this is soph. All right, and then last but not least, what's the probability that I get 2 freshmen? And now you should be able to finish all the rest of the spots. Then you could use a calculator to actually multiply these all out and divide them. But I'm going to say the question one more time from the top. There are 30 kids in here. I'm going to select 2 at random. What's the probability that they will both be, what did I say, freshmen, I think? That they will both be freshmen. All right, here's how you should have set it up. 30C2. How many of you had that part right? Good. Now, check the other part with the kid next to you. What goes in these 4 spots? All right, so we worked this out and we figured out that the final answer was 0.241 for our CC over C question. Now, they are going to use cards a fair amount, and I'm going to tell you about the card deck in just this way. Please write this down. There are 13 clubs. There are 13 hearts. There are 13 spades. And there are 13 diamonds. Now, that all adds up to 52 cards total. Are you with me so far? Okay, now if I grab this deck and I pick out 4 cards, and again, if I'm picking out 4 at once, that is different than if I said pick one and then I put it back, and then pick one and then I put it back, that's what we made, the mistake you and I made when we were thinking that might be the same. Because when you take out 4 at once, some of them are not getting put back in, so to speak. Okay. All right, so where is my deck? There's my deck. All right, so what's the probability that I am going to shuffle this and pick out 4 cards and that it will be one of each? 1 club, 1 heart, 1 spade, and 1 diamond. So this is a CCCC over C. And you definitely are welcomed to use your calculator because this will not be fun to do just all in your head. Some of it could be done in your head though. Like, you know, if you have 13 things and you choose one of them, it isn't too hard to figure out how many different answers there are for 13C1. That you could do in your head. But at the end, this and this is not something you want to do in your head. Probably you want to use the calculator. All right. So help me finish this before I go put it in the calculator. Yoakum, do you get what's going on here?
Yeah.
Okay, so if this first one is my clubs, what did the 13C1 mean?
Well, you want one of each, so there's the one on the right, and then the 13 is how many clubs there are in total.
All right, good. So then what should I do for the hearts, the spades, and the diamonds?
For the hearts, 14, 1.
Wait. I think it's 13. Isn't there 13 hearts?
Oh yeah, 13.
Okay, keep going.
And then 13, 1.
And then?
13, 1.
And those are all the same, right? So what is 13C1? 13. So then it's really 13 to the 4th is how the fastest way you could get that on a calculator, wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
I mean, that means 13 times 13 times 13 times 13, but that'd be a lot faster. And then what's on the bottom? Carter, what do you say I should put here and here?
52.
Yep, choose.
You're choosing 4, right?
4, you got it. That's kind of like the culmination. It's like I'll add it up on the bottom. So then, definitely a calculator problem from here. Do it, check with the kid next to you, see if you get the same thing. Okay, so on this question, I'm talking about a family gathering. One of the last big family gatherings I can remember in my family, there were 39 people that all got together. I can't even remember exactly which were on which side, so I made up this part. There was 30 on one side and 9 on the other side. And then, if we wanted to have one person from each group get together to plan the next family gathering, then I'd have how many different ways. So, order did not matter. Part of it was because you're only picking one person, so the order isn't going to matter. So we have 30C1, and we have 9C1, and you always multiply when you have the C's next to each other. That's always at times. And somebody said it, well, that's just 30 times 9, and then that's just what? 270. Okay, now, if I tell you that Jeremy is from one side of the family and Lois is from the other side of the family, my question is, what's the probability it's going to be Jeremy and Lois? I know this seems like super hard, but it's not. There was 270 total ways that it could be picked. What's the probability it turned out to be Jeremy from the one side of the family and Lois from the other? Would you agree that Jeremy and Lois was one of the 270 possible combinations? Raise your hand if you understood that. Okay, good. Okay, so these can get tricky, but in the end, it's either just a bunch of C's that are multiplied, or sometimes it's CC over C. And now you have a Schoology quiz. What I would like for you to do is to finish that up as fast as possible with the kid next to you being a fair, like, not necessarily that you have to work together, but that you can check with each other throughout the quiz. Like, what'd you get for number 2? You know what I mean? So, working together with the person next to you, finish up that Schoology quiz, and then the rest of the time today is yours. That's all I got for you for today.